E bentornati al nostro appuntamento del giovedì sera con Language Master Academy Online. Stasera saremo con voi dalle 20 alle 21 di nuovo per un altro appuntamento di conversazione di lingua inglese e questa sera, come promesso, continueremo a parlare di cinema. Allora, vediamo se abbiamo tutto settato e abbiamo tutto pronto per iniziare. Siamo connessi con i ragazzi del gruppo di WhatsApp che stanno già dando le prime defezioni perché siamo in prefestivo e quindi stasera mi sa che se la piperanno in differita e non in diretta. Ma bando alle ciance, stasera continuiamo a trattare l'argomento che abbiamo visto l'altra volta. So, let's start talking in English first. Okay. As you can see from the image, to my left or right, it depends on whether you're watching which point of view you are adopting. Okay, we are talking about movies. So Language Master Academy goes to the movies. That's the title that we decided to place for this couple of episodes dedicated to learning English by means of movie analysis. In particular, last time we talked about movie analysis and paralanguage and non-verbal communication through images, in particular by analyzing some playbills and movie posters taken from movies released in the past and recent past and not so recent anymore. So we took into consideration some cult movies and some other blockbuster movies, such as, for example, Vertigo. We focused on the movie analysis of the playbill, the movie analysis by looking at the playbill. So just by suggesting what we can infer, what we can understand about the movie without having seen it, just by looking and analyzes the movie poster, the movie playbill. And by the way, in the meanwhile, we try to analyze the reasons why sometimes distributors in some countries decide to change titles. For example, in this case, in this Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece, the original title Vertigo was changed in La donna che visse due volte. So literally, the woman who who lived twice which doesn't make much sense actually, because this is not the original title at all. Okay, we discussed the reason why they decided to make such changes, and and oh, Gabriele is commenting on me, and he's saying, "I have seen the titles you sent us. No comment." What the hell? Why are you talking this to me? I just suppose that you don't like the movies that I suggested and that I decided to take into consideration for our analysis. So if you have any suggestions, I can call you and see if we can have a chat maybe afterwards during the lesson. Okay, so maybe the connection could be a little bit unbalanced and is maybe lagging a little bit, but you know that we always experience some problems between 8 o'clock and 8:30. So don't be afraid. We still maybe are. Is that bad quality? Okay, we can have time, I think, to retrieve the conversation. Okay, so if you are looking it through a mobile device, that could be a problem, but if you have the chance to connect your device to an Ethernet connection instead of using the wireless, that would be much better for you, because wireless connection for streaming services may not be so stable. So you have the chance to get your hands on an Ethernet cable, that would be much better to make your connection more balanced and stable and fluent. So you should be able to retrieve images in a while. Okay, it's lagging a little bit. I can see that there is no good connection tonight, but because of the quarantine, everybody's at home and everybody's using the internet, so the band could be a little busy. Okay, so Vertigo and Alfred Hitchcock. Why did they decided to change the title like that? Yeah, because we explained that 10 years earlier than Vertigo, another movie was released, and this movie was titled. This movie title was Laura. That was the original movie, but the Italian version decided to change the title into the Italian word for vertigo. So they decided to change it in vertigine, and so they couldn't keep the name Vertigo, or as well as translating the name into vertiginous, so they couldn't opt for the original, for a literal translation, because of the fact that another movie with the same title had already been released. And sometimes there are specific reasons why movies get different translations, but some other times we have different reasons, sometimes not so logical. So let's move forward. We won't have time to analyze all the bunch of movie posters that I have for you tonight, but let's just make a selection. We ended our last lesson by analyzing together with Michele and our students There Will Be Blood, another masterpiece starring Daniel Day-Lewis, the famous actor already known for other roles such as Gandhi, or in recent times Lincoln by Steven Spielberg. And we analyzed the different styles of the movie playbills, in the different graphic styles, the different choices made by distributors and art directors for the alternate playbill, the alternate movie poster, and the reason behind all this. There is a completely different use of fonts, a completely different use of style. In the first original movie poster, they decided to adopt a more sort of Western graphic style, while in the second movie poster on the right, you can see a photograph of the protagonist. There's a close up of the main character of the movie, and so forth. And now I want you to learn some useful terms to discuss about movies. Let's just make a little bit tidier my workstation here, otherwise I won't be able to write anything. And just let me a couple of seconds to set everything. All right, and we can start with tonight's topic. Okay, and go down into details, and let's get down to business. Okay, so before talking about movies, and let's suppose that is the case that you want to discuss with movies with a pen friend or native speakers which can share your same passion for movies and visual communication. Suppose that we want to talk about movies. Which word do we need to talk about movies? Okay, we can just say I have seen a movie and so on. So let's try to enhance, let's try to improve our vocabulary by adding some new words that we can put into practice almost immediately by talking about the next playbills and the next movies that I'm going to show to you. So let's move to our whiteboard, and let's start adding some useful words to your vocabulary. First thing first, when we talk about movies, you already may know that we have a couple of terms to talk about movies. In UK English, they are referred as films. Okay, we talk about a film. I have seen a film in UK. While in the United States, they rather prefer using the word movie. So now you know that when I use the word movie, I tend to adopt the American vocabulary. Okay, so in UK we talk about film, and in US we talk about movie. So also, when we go to see a movie outside, of course we cannot do that in these days because we have the quarantine and the virus and so on. Okay, I don't care. Okay, just an example. I'm making an example. So when we talk about movies, and when I book a ticket or something and I want to go to see the movie, okay, maybe there is the movie premiere, okay, in the town nearby where I live, we can say that I go to the cinema. Cinema is the place where I can go to see and enjoy a movie or a film. But in United States, we mainly refer to the cinema, to the building, to the facility, okay, as a movie theater. Movie theater. And also remember that the orthography is also different from UK, because in UK, in British English, we talked about theater, okay, like this, and this is the proper orthography of the word, okay. We talk about theater. So that is spelling being THEATRE. While on the contrary, in United States, in American English, we use a different writing style, okay? We adopt theater, okay? Theater. And remember, this is not te, is theater. Theater or theater, okay? And that's a point. Okay, so basically speaking, we can go into a facility called a theater, and if it is specialized to project and broadcast movies, you can call it movie theater. Okay, let's move on. Which other words do we need? When we approach a movie theater, okay, we don't need the classical theater for now, and we just need cinema, movie theater. When we approach and we arrive at a theater, we have a box office. We already know about box office because we have been adopting these very words in Italian language for a while nowadays. So I think there won't be any need to translate the word literally. But okay, the box office. Let's try to do another exercise. Let's try to give a definition in English of what a box office is. For example, a box office is the place where you can go and buy tickets, okay? A place inside the movie theater where you can go and buy tickets. Okay, this is slightly informal, when you can go to buy tickets, okay? This is the proper definition of box office. So what is box office? Is the place, the reception, when there is an assistant or something, or people, okay, there to sell tickets, okay. So you can buy your movie ticket to at a box office, okay. And if you remember, or if you have in mind, how does a movie theater looks like, particularly in the USA, for example, we can say that there is also another part, a very interesting part of a movie theater, which is the marquee. And sometimes the marquee is the place, is the sign where movie titles, the ongoing movie titles, are shown to the public on the street. That is called the marquee. The marquee. Okay, how could we define the marquee? The marquee is the top part of the movie theater facade, okay, so it is the front side of the building, okay, on the wall. When entering, usually you enter, okay, and under, above the entrance, okay, there is a sort of porch, okay, there is a porch, and on top of the entrance there is this sort of board with lights sometimes it is animated and so on. Sometimes it has light bulbs. Sometimes it is electronically connected to a software showing animated titles and so on, showing the titles. So we have the playbill and the movie posters hang on a wall, but we also have the marquee on top of the entrance. That's the marquee, the place on top of the entrance of a movie theater where the titles of the movies scheduled are shown. Okay? This is the definition that we need. So I don't know if you can see, okay, or if I have to enlarge the font a little bit. Maybe this is better for you, okay? So, cinema or movie theater. Then we have box office and marquee. Let's build up our specific vocabulary to talk about movies. And at the end of this lesson, if we get the chance, I'd like you to have a chat with me about movies and try to use these very words that we are going to use now when we talk about experiencing movies in a cinema or as well as at home and so on. And under the marquee, hanging on the wall, we have the playbill. Maybe playbill is a little bit an old-fashioned word, but nowadays we should talk about the movie posters. If you go and see some reviews on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritics, and so on, they talk about movie poster, a movie poster. What is the movie poster? Movie poster is what we are analyzing these days, okay, in these very lessons, okay. The movie poster is the poster showing a summary of the movie itself, okay, with the title, the payoff, and so on. So the movie poster, let's remember it. And again, we have the title, the movie title, so the original title. Pay attention that when we want to talk in English about movie titles, we have to talk about the original title, because we are talking about maybe, in this case, American or British movies, and American and English movies have an original title, okay? We used to talk about movies by using their translations, okay, in Italian when we talk to Italian friends. But when we are going to talk about movies with American or British friends, we should, or we had better use original titles, I think, okay? Because sometimes, or in most cases, as you can see, titles tend to change because of many reasons, sometimes for cultural reasons, sometimes for legal reasons, and sometimes for no reasons at all. And we will see some examples of what am I talking about now. But before doing that, let's move on with the other keywords that we need to talk about movies. So, marquee, the movie poster, the original title. Under the title, usually, the title is almost always accompanied by a payoff or a tagline. What is a tagline? A tagline is a catchphrase. A catchphrase. A catchphrase representing or summarizing the concept, the idea, or the mood of the movie itself. For example, in our Facebook group Showtime, we got the chance to analyze different movie posters, and we saw, for example, that in Harry Potter Chapter 1, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or as well as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in British version, the tagline was "Let the magic begin," for example. Or the second movie that we suggested was The Walk, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and the tagline was "Every big action or everything start with a single step." Okay, they just play with the words, they play with the words, they play with the language, they try to find sort of puns, okay, or something like that, in order to create sort of allegories, or use the words as symbols to represent and to summarize the whole concept and the mood of the movie itself. In this case, if you can see in the original playbill, in the original movie poster, we have the tagline. The original title is "There Will Be Blood," and it is "When Ambition Meets Faith." Okay, and this gives us a lot of hints about the movie itself and what the movie is about. For example, in this case, the payoff, the tagline is "When Ambition Meets Faith." What does that mean? Let's try to analyze that part. When ambition meets faith. When ambition meets faith. So an encounter, okay, a meeting between ambition and faith. So we know that it is a movie talking about oil drilling. It is a movie about maybe some violence, because there is a promise, there is a threat in the title, "There will be blood," okay? And but also we know that it is more than that. It is more than blood and violence, which is suggested by the strong image in the movie poster. It is also something more. Again, underground there is some other themes that run beneath the surface, beneath the main plot. That is ambition and faith. And how can ambition and faith go together in the single movie? Maybe they are in contrast. Maybe it is about a conflict. Maybe it is about an inner conflict of the main character. We still don't know, because we haven't got the chance to see the movie yet, but we can understand a lot of things and see whether the movie could be of our tastes or not. If it is something that can suit us or not. Sometimes directors and marketing managers do bad choices in this case. It happened with the promotion of The Wolf of Wall Street in Italy, for example. The marketing played on some trailers and communication campaign, which was a little bit softer. They tried to smoothen, okay, and to flatten the tones, dark tones and extreme tones that the movie had. And so it happened that a lot of the audience, or at least in Italy, was sort of misled by the communication campaign. The communication campaign didn't represent the movie, the very meaning of the movie and the very mood and contents of the movie. Sometimes they do that on purpose to gather and to try to collect as much audience as possible, but sometimes things can be slip out of their hands and lead to unwanted results. So, if you want to go and see a movie before buying the ticket or booking the ticket, even better, in a theater, or buying the DVD or downloading it from iTunes or other platforms like Netflix or Amazon or whatever, okay, pay attention to the playbill, pay attention to the title, pay attention to the tagline, and try to figure out what could the movie be about, okay, because there can be a lot of things going on just by analyzing the movie poster. So in this case, we have When Ambition Meets Faith, but we have a lot of taglines. But pay attention to one thing, one detail. Images just slept away. I had this problem last night. This is a problem of the software. Okay, let's retrieve the image. Notice that in the case of there is the tagline above the title, I think, but I cannot read it. It's unreadable. Okay, suppose that I'm driving on the street and I happen to see the movie poster and I cannot read the tagline or whatever is here. I can just read the name of the main character here, the name, the movie title, and also the fact that this is one of the best movies ever. So it's one of the best movie to be seen in the world. So best actor, Daniel Day-Lewis, and so on. So Italian marketing is focusing almost exclusively on the main character, on the protagonist, while in the original movie poster we can see a lot more. Okay, so what do we need other than these words to talk about movies? When we talk about movies, we know, of course, that movies are characterized by the presence and the performance of some actors. When we talk about movies in this way, we talk about actors, one actor, and the male one, and the female is an actress. Okay, I think that we don't need to comment on these ones. Okay, an actor is Brad Pitt, and an actress may be Angelina Jolie. Okay, for example, an actor is Jack Black, and another actress can be Kate Blanchett. Okay, any references made on purpose, because you know that this month in our Showtime group we are giving a house with a clock in its walls, starring Jack Black and Kate Blanchett and Owen Vaccaro, which is one of the latest feature movie by Eli Roth. And we used a lot of interesting words. Again, a movie starring. When we have important actors in a movie, we can say that the movie is starring, from the word star. In this case, star, it is not used as a noun. As we can see, a star, stars are in the sky, of course, for example. Okay, but in this case, star is used as a verb with different meaning. Okay, performing in a movie referred especially to very famous actors or actresses. Okay, so instead of saying the movie with Brad Pitt, it's not a movie with, it's a movie starring Brad Pitt, starring Daniel Radcliffe, starring Sylvester Stallone, and so on. Okay, starring, a movie starring. Or the movie cast, with a movie cast stars different actors and actresses. Okay, remember that a big actor, a very famous actor or actress, is referred almost always as a movie star. So if it is a movie star we are talking about, we can say star also, we can use star as a verb too. So a movie starring, and then you start listing the names of the actors and actresses featuring in performing in that movie. Okay, perform. Perform is another interesting word. Okay, let me just adjust the fonts so you can better see that. And after this lesson, I can send you via email, of course, the whole list of words that I'm writing now to study, so we can discuss it even further in our next lessons, or if you want to add some comments on our Showtime group on Facebook. Okay, so perform, that is to say, to act. In this case, in a movie, but not only. Remember the word performance. So that is acting in some way, okay? So let's review the word so far. In this case, we have the box office. When we go in a movie theater, we have the box office. On top of the entrance, we can have a marquee. Then we have the movie poster hang on the wall with the original title, and under the title we have a tagline. Movies in general feature actor and actresses which are starring in the movie. So the movie cast, okay? In the cast is the list of actors and actresses starring in a movie. What does starring mean? Means to perform in a movie. So an actor performing a very beautiful part, okay? And when you like the performance, you can see that the movie is well acted. Well acted. When a movie is well acted, that means that actors in the movie are acting really well. Or are doing, if you want to say in an easier way, are doing a really good job. Okay, are doing a really good job. It's well acted. Oh, that movie was top notch, was really well acted. So star and perform. And let's move on to the roles and jobs that you can, and occupations that we can have in the movie industry, okay? In the movie industry, we have usually a producer, which is the person or the company producing, giving money to create the movie. And the movie direction is given to a director. So the director is the person under whose responsibility the whole movie budget and movie shooting and editing and performing is. So, for example, Steven Spielberg is a very famous movie director, but he is also a producer. Christopher Nolan is another movie director and producer as well. Or to name other, for example, I take as an example our latest Showtime movie, In the House with a Clock in Its Walls. Eli Roth is the director of the movie, while Steven Spielberg is a producer. Yeah, you may not know that, but the movie is produced by Amblin, so Steven Spielberg is the producer, and the company producing the movie is the Amblin, the same that produced Jurassic Park, to name one, or E.T., for example, and the director is Eli Roth. And so we have the producer, the director, and the actor and actresses, okay? Then let's move on to another interesting part. How would you define a movie? When I hear people talking about movies, I always get so bored and pissed off because they just start saying, oh, that's a good movie, that's an interesting movie, that's another good movie, this is an interesting movie. I don't like that. Let's try to improve, let's try to enhance our vocabulary. How would you define, for example, have you ever seen, don't mention Laura because I don't believe that you have seen that, but Vertigo, for example. Have you ever seen Vertigo? Let's comment on it. Let's add comments on the chat room on our WhatsApp group, okay? For example, have you seen Vertigo? How would you define Vertigo as a movie? Good or bad? But let's go beyond good and bad. Let's try to find out other words to define a movie. This is a suspense movie. This is a very thrilling movie, so we can say that it is thrilling. So not only is good and bad and interesting, yeah, interesting, but when saying interesting, we are working in our in a comfort zone, okay? Just interesting, so an average movie. So you cannot express the emotions that you felt while watching the movie. I wouldn't define Vertigo just interesting if I have loved it so much. What about talking about your favorite movie ever and just say, yeah, that's interesting? Sounds fake, isn't it? Okay, so not just interesting. You can say we have other general adjectives to define a movie. A well-acted movie, for example, when a movie is well-acted, we can say that not only it is well acted, but it is outstanding. Outstanding. What does outstanding? So in this case, we have positive meaning. So adjectives with a positive meaning. So adjectives with a positive meaning to describe something. In this case, movies, of course. All right? So, interesting, it's boring, it's usual, it's too much common, I don't like it very much. Outstanding. Outstanding means that something which really stands out. So, not just interesting, but outstanding. What does outstanding mean? It is an adjective which means that something really, so STH, which is the abbreviation of something which really stands out. What does this mean? This means that this movie makes the difference. So it stands out. It is different from all other movies. So it's not just interesting, it's exceptional, it's unique, okay? It's in one word, it is outstanding, okay? It stands really out of the mass, okay? Of the other industrial or boring movie that can be on the market, okay? So something that is really enjoyable and really well performed, well acted, and you find it one of the most interesting movie ever in movie history. That's really outstanding. There is an idiom to define something which is outstanding. You can also say, and not only about movie, but for anything that you want, you can say that something is top-notch. For example, I love Christopher Nolan movies, and I love Christopher Nolan's thrillers and so on, from Memento to Dunkirk, and now I can wait. I'm looking forward for Tenet to come out, okay, in movie theaters next September, I think. And I can say, when I see a movie by Christopher Nolan, I say, oh, that is more than interesting. That is really outstanding. That was top notch. Have you ever seen Inception? Yes, I have. How was that? How do you find it? Okay, that was top notch. What does top notch means? That's an idiom to say that something is awesome. Awesome, amazing, outstanding, incredible, okay? Awesome, amazing, great. But we add something more, okay? We add something more to our conversation. It's not just amazing or that was top notch, okay? 2 syllables and which are comprehensive, omnicomprehensive of what we want to say, but with one single word, that was top notch, okay? So I don't want you to say that a movie is interesting anymore, okay? And these are all adjectives with a positive meaning, but general. There are other adjectives that we can come in handy when we want to describe particular movies, okay? For example, when we see we have comments by Gabriele. He has other ways to define the movie. He defines Vertigo as something not boring, but too old. And he has never seen it. You have never seen Vertigo? You are a moron. You should see it because you should study Hitchcock much more. It is a really high anxiety movie, and it's really compelling and full of suspense and really thrilling. Okay, without I don't remember any blood spill in the whole movie. Without a drop of blood, we have a lot of suspense, and so we can say that a movie with a lot of suspense is more than interesting, is thrilling. Thrilling. What does thrilling means? Thrilling means that it's something that gives you thrills. something giving you thrills, something which makes you shiver or feel make you shiver or make you feel goosebumps. What are goosebumps? Okay, we have already seen that in our past lesson. When you have goosebumps is when you have your skin like the one of a goose and you say, how was the movie? Oh, thrilling, really outstanding. Look, I have goosebumps. Okay, these are goosebumps when your fur, okay, you comes out like goose. Okay, so just you feel so thrilled that you feel goosebumps on your skin. That when a movie is particularly thrilling. Okay, shivers. What are shivers? Okay, shivers are when you're shivering. Okay, because you are too much excited for something, or maybe frightened. We don't know. Okay, so you're shivering. You are thrilled. You are excited. In one word, thrilling can be the same as exciting in one word. Outstanding, exciting, thrilling, and what else? When we see a movie like Reservoir Dogs, for example, are you a fan of Quentin Tarantino movies? For example, Tarantino movies are also usually are extreme, bloody, violent, but not only, it's not the extreme part of the movie. The important part with Tarantino movie, they are graphic, they are violent, they describe war scenes, or they talk about violent crimes and so on. But it's not only the subject taken into consideration in Tarantino movies. It's not the direction. It's the fact that the themes which are analyzed in Tarantino movies are almost always controversial. So we can say that a movie is controversial. Have you ever seen a controversial movie? For example, I will name you 3 controversial movies that I really enjoyed. And one of the most controversial movies of all times, I think, is Fight Club by David Fincher. Fight Club is one really outstanding, thrilling, controversial movie. It is controversial, but top-notch, really outstanding. And I would also say that it is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. What does mind-boggling mean? It means your brains explode by surprise, by its controversial aspects, by the way it's something. I would define mind-boggling as something which depicts facts and situation from a completely new point of view. Something thrilling, something exciting, but also something completely unexpected. Okay. In an unexpected way. So that is mind-boggling. Okay, when you see when I first saw Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World, not that franchise, the first one, the original one, taken from the book of Michael Crichton, the novel from by Michael Crichton. So the first and unique Jurassic Park, it was 1993 when I first saw it, the one by Steven Spielberg, directed by Steven Spielberg, not only produced, because in the other movies, maybe the second one was directed by Spielberg, but from the third chapter onwards, Spielberg was only the producer and not the director anymore. But I think that even in the second chapter, he was only the producer and the director changed or something like that. But I didn't enjoy them so much. The best one, I think, it was the first, and that's it. Okay, that was really mind-boggling. That was adventurous, thrilling, outstanding from the point of view of special effects, and also mind-boggling. Okay. So you have a lot of words that you can use and you make and take advantage when you want to describe a movie. So not just saying that it is good or interesting, but something is outstanding, top-notch, thrilling, controversial, mind-boggling. Okay, for example, one of the last controversial movies that I have seen, and I think it is a quite old one, alas, now it was from 2009, and it was Inglourious Bastards from Tarantino, and before that maybe Joker from Todd Phillips, and that was really outstanding, but also very dark, gloomy, and quite controversial indeed. Okay, so let's move on. And what about a movie which could be bad? For example, these are too old for Gabriele to be seen, so he prefers watching more modern movies. So let's move on. So we have The Sound of Music, and I think Gabriele won't like it very much, so let's just skip it. There is a lot to analyze in the title translation too, in this case, because the title has been completely changed. You know that, you may well know it as Tutti insieme appassionatamente, but it's not the original title. And a more recent one is The Place Beyond the Pines. We talked about that, The Place Beyond the Pines, come un tuono. We discussed a little bit about that. As a thunder would be the literal translation, but it doesn't make any sense. They even removed the logo here with the pine trees, the fir trees, or whatever are there. There is a sort of symbol of logo symbolizing the pines, the wood, and they have even been removed in the Italian version, and also a payoff has been added. 2 men, 1 choice, one only destiny, one single destiny. Okay, I don't know. In this case, I haven't seen the movie, so I'd like you to comment on it. Have you seen it? How did you find it when you first saw it? Exciting, boring, or what? If a movie is it doesn't suit you, you can use some other adjectives to define it. For example, you can say that it's too violent, of course. You may like violence in movies or not, it depends. So violent is a word that it can be both positive or negative, it depends. There is too much violence, so it comes from violence, but it's quite easy. But what about horror movies, for example? Have you ever seen horror movies? Do you like horror movies? I know a lot of people among my students are fan of horror movies. And oh, wait a second. Gabriele is telling us that he loved The Sound of Music. No, I have to ask Gabriele about that because it's too much fun. He enjoyed The Sound of Music. So let's go back to the studio once again. We have breaking news. Gabriele enjoyed The Sound of Music. He said the Vertigo was too much old for him to be seen, but he enjoyed the Sound of Music. I have to see that one. I'm sorry. And so what I'm going to do now is call Gabriele. Let's see if I can get in touch with him. And in the meanwhile, I will take advantage of the situation to drink a sip of water. Hi, Gabriele. How are you doing? Hello. Can you please turn the volume down a little bit so we can talk to each other?
Was too much old for him to be seen, but
Gabriele, can you turn down the volume?
So what I'm going to do now is call Gabriele. Let's see if I can.
He's waiting for me to tell about him.
I take advantage of the situation to drink a sip of water.
Hey.
What I have to listen from the PC or from
No, from while we are talking, you have to talk with me. So turn the volume down. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, now,
No.
yes.
Okay, I wanted to comment on your comments. You told me that Vertigo was too much old for you.
No, Vertigo, no, the other was too
Ah,
old.
okay. You were talking about Laura. Okay, Laura and maybe another couple of ones. Because I thought you were talking about Vertigo, and then you have shocked me by saying that you enjoyed the Sound of Music. How comes that? I thought you were a more violent person.
Because when I was a child, it was a Christmas film.
Oh yeah,
My
you're
whole
right.
family.
Like Life is Beautiful, okay, Life is Wonderful with James Stewart, okay. So you used to see the Sound of Music during Christmas with your family.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
and
It's
how?
record.
uh,
It's a film of my
Years ago,
of my young age.
your childhood. It's a movie reminding you about your childhood. We can call about recollections, okay, ricordi, childhood memories. Also memories, okay. The memory, one is memory, la memoria, but in plural form you can talk about childhood memories.
Okay, the memories.
Okay, so you have a sort of affection which connects you to the Sound of
It's
Music.
not a beautiful film, but I have a connection.
Ah, okay, so it's something about your past and your childhood, so you are connected. Okay, it's sort of private stuff or something. And what about the movies that you really like? What is the name of a movie that you liked the most? One of the recent movies that you really enjoyed, that you would find outstanding.
I think the Castello Errante di Hall, ma non so, I don't know the English title.
You won't do much with the English title because the movie is Japanese. So I think the original title comes from Japanese, and the moving castle, Hole's Moving Castle, I think is the original title. Hole's Moving Castle. That is the Saxon genitive. So Hole apostrophe S Moving Castle. I'm pretty much sure that the original title is that one. But I don't remember the Japanese title anymore because I haven't seen it yet. So you like animation movies?
Yes, I like animation movies.
You don't like violent movies like Fight Club or Joker or stuff like that?
Yeah, Joker, I've seen it. It's very beautiful. It's very good.
Well acted.
Good acted. It's very good acted.
I cannot hear you anymore.
What? Can you repeat it?
No, I couldn't hear you for just a couple of seconds. I couldn't hear you anymore. So you were saying that it is how would you define Joker as a movie, for example? Let's talk about that.
It's thrilling and it's thrilling, I think.
Ah, thrilling. Yeah, really thrilling. A lot of suspense. You can perceive the anxiety throughout the movie.
I don't understand you clearly.
You can perceive, you can feel a lot of anxiety throughout the movie.
Yes.
For the whole duration of the movie.
An unexpected movie.
An unexpected movie, a really unexpected movie. I totally agree with you. And have you ever seen The House with a Clock in Its Walls?
No, I've never seen it.
So join Showtime on our Facebook page and try to take a look at the teaser trailer. I have posted the teaser trailer of the movie, and I was totally flabbergasted about the movie because the director is Eli Roth. Do you know Eli Roth?
I don't understand what are you talking about.
No, okay. The director of the movie of The House with a Clock in Its Walls is Eli Roth. That's the name of the director, okay? And it is famous.
I don't know him.
No, it was famous because it was a very extreme horror movie director, and he directed Hostel Part 1 and 2. And what amazed me is that A House with a Clock in Its Wall basically is a movie intended for kids. And
yes, I know which is that film with Jack Black, I think.
Yeah, exactly, and Kate Blanchett. But look at the movie director, because the movie director gives me goosebumps, because the movie director was the movie director of Hostel, which is a very extreme horror movie. And I didn't expect that a director like Eli Roth could be able to direct a movie for kids.
Okay.
So,
but I try to see it.
Okay.
But I don't know when find time, because the television is a property of my sons.
Of your children, okay, your sons, okay. So you have no time to watch movie, even despite the quarantine. You are at home and you cannot watch television anymore, okay? That's great. Okay, thank you very much. I think we are running out of time, so I have to leave you now. So thank you very much for your intervention and participation. So see you next time, Gabriele, and enjoy the evening and have a good time. Thank you very much. And now let's hang up on him and we are done. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, and what about you? Have your children taken possession of your television, or do you have time to watch the movie? Or remember that Showtime is on Facebook, so you can watch and enjoy the movies at home. You can watch them on Netflix, you can watch them on Amazon Prime, you can watch them on your DVD, and you can download our booklets and other information, reviews and critics and vocabulary on the movie on our Showtime group on our Facebook page. And pay attention, that is only intended for our members, so you have to be owner of a membership, Language Master Academy membership card. Okay, I can't talk anymore, I'm sorry. It has been a hard day today, and what else? Okay, we've been running out of time by now, and so I cannot comment you anymore or any farther about these movies, which were really, really, really interesting. This is very Stagecoach, for example, was another very interesting movie, and there is a really funny anecdote about that, and the translation of it, which is real fun, and Rio Grande and Rio Bravo 2. And again this one, and then I wanted to comment about The Eternal Sunshine 2 of the Spotless Mind, which has been nonsenselessly translated with that horrible title in Italian language, Se mi lasci ti cancello, on the spur of other movies as Se mi lasci ti sposo and so on, which had very different, completely different titles. So, but we know that movies, and this one was starring Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell, was a hit at that time, and in this case we also have a big translation mistake, and it was too much fun, but we can do it another time. So if you have any questions, you can comment on our WhatsApp group. You can send me an email, and if you want to try to give a commentary or a review of one of these movies or a movie of your like, you can just freely write your text and text it back to me on Facebook, on our email address, or via our WhatsApp group or whatever. I will be eager to read your review and try to review it. Okay. So, thank you so much, and now stay tuned, because we are coming back in, let's say, 5 minutes with our Japanese lesson, always here on Language Master On Air. So, see you soon, and see you next week, 8 to 9 p.m., same as usual, okay? Have a good night, and happy Easter!